Hi, and welcome to Blue Bees Tonight, Blue Bees Farm here in Thomasville, North Carolina. We're going to be making a wonderful Christmas soap. I got this idea off of a Pinterest site, a wonderful web page or blog called Humble Bee and Me. This is going to be a chunks of coal soap. It's going to look like little lumps of coal when we're done, so you know, all the people you've been threatening, I'm going to give you coal in your stocking this year, you can actually do it, and it'll be something useful that they can use. I am doing a room temperature blending today. My lye and my oils have been sitting there at room temperature now. You can do this, you know, with hot lye if you want. You can do it with hot oils, you know, however you are comfortable doing it. I'm trying it this way first. Just a new process for me to see how it goes. We do have our oils. They are shea butter, beef tallow, coconut oil, castor oil, and olive oil. And then we also do have our additives. I do have some activated charcoal mixed in a little bit of oil to mix it in. I may need more or less, I'm not sure yet. We'll see what it comes out. Kale and clay. And then I do also have my additives here of, my essential oils here. I'm using a mixture of peppermint, fir, cedarwood, and a little bit of orange. Just for kind of a Christmassy scent. You can scent it any way you want. You can make it smell smoky, you can make it smell flowery, however you feel that your coal soap should smell. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to kind of give my lye here a little mix, just to make sure everything is in. It should be by now. If it's not, oh well. Typically, hold on. Let me get something to put this in, because I hate putting it straight down on my countertops, even if it is my stove. Just a container will do just fine. Any container. I even have my Christmassy spatula out again today. And like last time, just gently pour it down your stick into the oils. And we're going to bring this up to a light trace. Alright. Let me give it a stir. You can see that's actually a little bit more than a light trace. It actually came up real quick. I'm surprised. That was really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in my clay to begin with. I'm just going to plop that in. I'm just going to kind of try to keep it from doing what it's doing now, of poofing up everywhere. You want to do this early in your trace because you don't want it too thick. I mean, granted, we're not doing any designs or anything with it, so it won't matter. sure I don't have any more chunks of clay in here, and we look like we're good. Now we're going to have the fun part. We're going to add in our charcoal. Now, when you add in charcoal, this is my first time actually using charcoal, but what I've read and heard is that if you add in too much, it can get very messy, especially for people with white towels. And all we're going to really try to do is kind of get it dark enough to look like charcoal, but not black. So it'll be kind of a dark gray. I'm going to see what we can come up with. And like I said, I may have to mix up more than that. I may not need all that. We'll find out in our batch and see how it goes. This is going to be a 2-pound batch, and I started off with just a teaspoon, and I just used my plastic spoon here, of charcoal in just a smidge of olive oil, just so I can get it in here without it causing clumps or getting it mixed in well. Let's see what we got here. Definitely going to need a little bit more. So. Some activated charcoal from Brambleberry. Really good. If you saw my intro video from the other day, you'll see where I unpackaged it, along with a couple of the essential oils that I am using today, the fir and the cedar wood. A little bit on beef tallow. Some people don't like using it because they want their soaps to be vegan or vegetarian. It's very easy to substitute. You can very easily substitute palm oil, and you can find sustainable palm oil that's earth-friendly. Make sure you're not, devouring rainforests or anything like that. It can be found, so you can do that, or you can just completely omit it. Just make sure you do run whatever recipe you're using through a soap calculator. If you change any of your oils, to make sure that you're using the right amount of lye and water to let's give this a mix. So I might end up using the full 2 teaspoons. And you can see coloring is not an exact science. It's personal preference as to how dark or light you want something. Probably do it. I'm getting good and thick, and it's okay. It doesn't matter with this. That's the nice thing about it. Okay. I'm going to add in my essential oils. When we mix, we'll see how it smells. It's nice and pepperminty, a hint of pine to it. I want something, it just smelled like Christmas to me. And your idea of what Christmas smells like might be completely different, but that's okay. And I'm not going to be worrying about soda ash on this because what we're going to end up doing tomorrow, after 24 to 36 hours of sonification, we're going to unmold it, and then we are going to go ahead and cut it into random chunks. Nothing specific, and we're going to mold them with our hands to make them look like lumps of coal. So it doesn't really matter if it gets any soda ash on it or anything like that. And then what we're going to do is dust them. I got some luster black mica, which is going to, I think, look really good. And we're going to dust them ever so lightly. And they'll just go ahead and cure for about 3 weeks. And they will be ready for gift giving or whatever you happen to want to do to them. You know, give them to your kids, you know, especially if you've been telling them that they're going to be on your naughty list. So let's go ahead, pull over our mold. It's on the camera. Let's go ahead and pour it on in. Doesn't have to be anything fancy because, you know, we're going to be cutting it up. Okay, so I can see what I'm doing. Useful. Take a long time to measure it all out, so make sure you get it all out of your bucket. Oop, splat. Alright, we'll just let this go ahead and sit till tomorrow, and we will be back at you for the cutting and forming of our chunks of coal. Hey, and welcome back. We are here again to cut and mold our chunks of coal soap, which has hardened now for a little over 24 hours, about 26 hours or so. I'm just going to pop this baby right out of the mold. It's a little sticky, but that's okay. It's supposed to be soft so we can be pliable. Oh, that one's unfold. That was in here. That is unusual. Never had that happen before. That stuff. I'm not sure. You know, I bet you that's from my last soap. It is. Yep. I thought I had cleaned my mold out and I hadn't. But that's okay. And the soap you want soft anyways because we're going to be molding it into chunks. And basically you're just going to want to cut it off, pull out a chunk. You don't want it to be exact or anything. And just form it like Play-Doh, essentially. Just make it look coal-like. I'm using gloves mostly because I don't want my fingerprints all over this, and it is still raw soap, so you could still have sensitivities to the lye that's in it. If you don't have lye sensitivities, great, go for it. But then you're going to go through and mold the whole thing like so, and make them different sizes. They don't have to be all uniform. Coal would not be uniform coming out of the ground anyway, so you can have flat sides. You know, coal a lot of times has sharp points on it and stuff, so just go ahead and go through and mold the whole thing. Have fun with it. And keep on going. Okay, so now I have them all cut up. I've got all our chunks. One thing I definitely probably would have done differently was maybe waited 36 hours instead of 24 because it was really still super soft. But obviously you can see it did mold. It was a little sticky though. So I don't know how well this is going to look. Like I said, this is the first time doing this, so we'll see how this turns out. We'll learn a few lessons as we go. Another thing I think I did have an issue with was my mold. I thought it was clean, and apparently it was not, and I think that's why it also stuck to the inside of my mold. But anywho, on to the next part of this. I have my luster black mica, and you can use any dark mica, silver mica, dark gray, anything like that. And you want a fine strainer, and we're just going to sift it over very easily over the lumps and give them a turn. You don't want to do this very heavy. You just want enough to kind of give it some color. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap, 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 tappy, tappy, tap. I like to tap. It gives me a little bit more control than shaking. Looking at this is my pen is very full. You can see it's not taking a whole lot. I mean, what, about a teaspoon or so in here. And we're going to give it a turn, you know, once we get this all taken care of. You can mix your colors if you want. I mean, it's really up to you how you want this to look. I mean, some pieces I molded, some pieces I just cut, and I like the shape of them, so I left them the way they were. Sorry, got a hair in my mouth. Set that aside for just a second. And go ahead and give them a turn. And you just go ahead and go on through and just keep on doing it till you get it to the way you want it. Now these not entirely sure how I'm going to package them up yet. I think what I'm going to do is just a good old brown paper bag. Make it look like something you'd throw in somebody's stocking. You know, because the mica is going to be a little dark. This is probably something if you give it to somebody, you know, warn them. Might not want to use it with white towels the first time, especially with the charcoal in it and the mica. It might be a little dark, so we don't want to ruin anybody's linens with a thoughtful gift. This is going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see how this comes out when it's fully cured after a good 3 weeks. But as you can see, I ditched the gloves. My gloves are too big, so they're extra larges, and I really probably need larges, so they were just sticking and pulling off and were irritating me, so I just said, oh, that's it. I'll just get rid of them for now. No big deal. I don't have a very big lye sensitivity, so I'd be okay. But always, especially when you're first making your soap, make sure you wear your gloves, because you do not want to get lye on your skin. It will burn badly. Alright, make them all flipped, or mostly flipped. And give them another shaky. And I probably would have used a little bit more charcoal in my next time to make it a little bit darker than it is, but I'm still happy with the color that I got. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Obviously I can't. It's all done. And I'm just going to keep continuing that until I've got it covered the way I want. Okay, so I've got it all covered in mica. Normally I'd put this on my cooling rack, I'll be alright, my drying rack, but what I think I'm going to do this time, because it is so soft, I'm going to let it kind of just sit where it is. I'm going to take a couple of these pieces that are leaning and rearrange them a little bit, but I just want to kind of let them sit for maybe 24 hours, and then I'm going to put them onto my drying rack so that I can let them finish. Once again, I mean, as you can see, I just barely touched that, and mica is can be very messy. But we'll see how it goes, and I will get pictures of this soon so I can add it on to the end of this video. And if you have any questions or comments, or let me know how your batches go. We'll see how everybody's stuff comes out, and this smells absolutely wonderful right now. I'm loving this scent. Anyways, thank you for watching. Just remember to rate, share, and subscribe. And we are Blue Bees Farm. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so I finally got it all trayed up onto my drying racks. This is one of the ways I do. I do also use old bread racks in grocery store style, the big plastic ones that you can stack up. They work great for your bar soaps, but I figured this would be a little bit better for these little babies. I got a whole rack under here, and then these up top. And I'm going to let them sit for 3 weeks, and then they will be ready to go. Hope you've enjoyed this. Oh, this is just a, it's a, I think they call it needlepoint cloth. It's for yarn work. You can find it in the craft section. It's really cheap, and it's nice for just holding stuff up. I mean, you could put it flat down on the counter and then put this right on top of it if you want. But I like having the cooling racks because these are stackable ones, so they give you plenty of space, even for bar soap, if you just need something quick, cheap, and easy to find. Anyways, thank you for watching.